Upon her return from her mission, Stella couldn't hide her elation, and Skylar was equally thrilled when she welcomed Stella back. Her eyes sparkling with warmth and pride as she embraced her on the shimmering blue deck of the Wishworld launch pad. However, over the next several days, things turned more serious. Stella was called into one meeting after another as she and Skylar determined exactly how events during Stella's Wish mission impacted the work of the Wish tank. Finally, after tirelessly analyzing the findings, it was time for Stella to share with the rest of the team what they had learned. When she opened the door to the conference room, she was exuberant, and she soon discovered she wasn't the only one. The entire room was buzzing with positive energy as she set down her hollow notebook and took her seat at the large table. As everyone settled in, Skylar gave Stella a quiet, encouraging smile before turning her attention to the rest of the Wish tank staff. As you all know, Stella's recent Wish mission was extremely successful, she began. Never in all my years as a Wish scientist have I seen so many new wishes generated in such a short period of time. But the implications of this Wish mission go far deeper than that, and I would like Stella to come up here and share them with all of us. Skylar turned and nodded at Stella, who rose to her feet and made her way to the presentation screen while Skylar took her seat at the head of the table. Thank you, Skylar. Stella felt her face glowing with pride as she took a deep breath and began her presentation. I feel like we've all done a wonderful job with the Wish motivation protocol that was put in place a while ago, but although we have consistently proven the importance of interacting with as many Wishlings as possible so as to motivate additional wishes, my recent mission has opened our eyes to an entirely new category of Wish orbs. As Stella and Skylar had anticipated, this news was both fascinating and a bit unsettling for the Wish tank staff members, who immediately began chattering among themselves before launching into a series of questions for Stella. How can we tell these new Wish orbs from any other good Wish orbs? Asked Lena. Do they have any physical properties that distinguish them in some way? Fortunately, yes. Stella nodded and took a small glass scepter from the pocket of her silver lab coat. She waved the rod at the presentation screen, prompting a glowing image of a Wish orb to appear. Like the one Skylar had presented to her on her recent mission, its surface swirled in brilliant hues of green, blue, and silver. As you can see, these orbs shine more brightly than most and look almost like small replicas of Wishworld itself. Stella lightly tapped the hologram, sending the image of the Wish orb over to Lena so she could examine it more closely. Her lavender eyes widened in curiosity as she inspected the image and then passed it around the table to the others. When the image arrived in front of each staff member, they all responded with equal amounts of surprise and awe. So what do we call this new category of Wish orbs? Asked a blue-haired coworker when the image floated over to him. He moved his hands around it, causing it to spin so he could get a look at it from every possible angle. Skylar and I discussed this at length. And although we're awaiting approval from the members of the Starland Wish Science Senate, we have proposed that they be called Inspirational Wish Orbs, Stella revealed. We have also recommended that these orbs be kept in a new, highly specialized section of Starland's Wish House. These wishes are very special. They are wishes for things that haven't been achieved before. Like when my wisher Lindy was chosen to be the first girl ever to get a scholarship to a prestigious space program. When wishes like these are granted, they show people what is possible. As her colleagues processed this information, several of them seemed somewhat confused. Then Norma, the youngest and newest staff member, raised her hand. Yes? Stella nodded at Norma. Are these wishes similar to impossible wish orbs? Norma asked in her soft, ethereal voice as she blinked her large greenish-blue eyes. It was an important question, and one that Stella and Skylar had also grappled with for quite a while. In some ways, yes, Stella acknowledged. On my recent mission, I learned that these wishes are especially challenging, often because they focus on things that wishlings have been told they shouldn't even bother attempting. Lena motioned to Norma, asking for her to pass the hologram of the orb back across the table. When it floated over to her, Lena stared at it intently, examining it for several star minutes. So they're almost like impossible wish orbs, which must be kept safe in case the wisher changes it to something that can be fulfilled, but we must work harder than usual to help them come true. Correct, Stella replied. The important distinction is that these wishes really are possible if they're made by wishlings who are strong and determined enough to pursue them in spite of seemingly insurmountable odds. Norma raised her hand again. But it's up to us to make sure a wisher doesn't lose sight of the power she has to make those wishes come true. Exactly. Stella smiled and waved her scepter in Lena's direction, retrieving the image of the inspirational wish orb. She gave it a light tap, which caused it to begin multiplying into smaller orbs, each of which began to grow and then sparkle. The very best part is that when these wishes come true, they have a ripple effect. Yes, Lena said excitedly. That's what happened when we observed Lindy getting her scholarship on your wish mission. When her name was called, almost 100 girls in the audience were so inspired by her that they sent wishes out into the universe right there and then. There were so many wish orbs produced we couldn't possibly count them all. But we were able to count them, Skylar interjected. We were? Stella asked, surprised that her mentor hadn't shared this information with her during their meetings. Indeed. Skylar nodded. I received the data from the Starland Wish House just before our meeting began today. Stella searched Skylar's face for some indication of what the number might be, but her expression was uncharacteristically blank, and suddenly Stella worried that perhaps the numbers weren't as impressive as she had previously thought. But then, at last, Skylar's eyes sparkled and her rosy lips broke into a wide smile. 247, Skylar revealed. And of those, nearly 100 appeared to be inspirational wish orbs. 247 wish orbs produced, and nearly 100 of them inspirational wish orbs? It was more than Stella could have possibly hoped for. She knew that the more wishes that made their way to Starland, the more positive energy that could be collected. Inspirational wishes were exponential, they might mean an end to energy shortages forever. As she made her way back to her seat, the entire conference room erupted with conversations about all that had been accomplished, and all the possibilities to come. I hope that you're ready, Skylar added, looking around the table at each member of the Wish Tank staff. Because you will all be called upon for an inspirational wish mission very soon. Once again, the room buzzed with positive energy, and Stella felt herself tingling all over. She could only hope that her next inspirational wish mission would be as exhilarating and successful as her first, and that she would get a chance to find out soon.